All right, yeah, not too much other than that. So tomorrow will be interesting. I'd like to trade probably tonight or tomorrow, just based on that Fed speech tomorrow. Um, all right, so I was looking at US 30 earlier today. Um, like around 9:30 around the open, kind of like made like a nice break of structure, like right here around 9:30, like M5 structure. Like a lot of times when I'm looking for like I want to see the volume hit the market, so I want to see how it reacts to the volume. But it spiked up, but the structure, pretty much started forming pretty bearish. And honestly, I'm not fully convinced of it yet, but it's just so high. Like I just don't like going long in US 30 unless I'm catching it like in the right lows. But right now I wouldn't really be even thinking about longs right now. So
How did I mess mine up right now?
what's that? Hello?
Nah, my bad. I thought I was on mute.
Oh, you're good. Yeah, so I was kind of making like a head and shoulder, like a left shoulder, right shoulder, and head here. I was looking at that earlier, but I would have liked to have already, been in and just holding, but maybe tomorrow we'll see what it does. H4 is kind of like, I mean, we got this engulfing is pretty strong. I don't know. I think it could pull back to like maybe 36,000. I'm not really sure yet, but that's what I'm looking at. So the Nasdaq too, I'm bearish on Nas. I mean, a lot of the moves that I wanted to see already happened. Like right around 9:30, there was just a lot of good volume today. Where was Nas? Yeah, Nas here. Like it broke structure again, like 9:30 and then dropped. So we'll see, but I mean, it's kind of just like in between moves right now. So I want to see like more of a build up on like the higher time frames before like I don't know. I really think I'm just like bearish on the indices. So like I know they go up and everything. People always buy them, but I just always sell them. So I think there's a big move coming in the indices, but that's just I'm just what I'm waiting for. GA is pretty bullish. There's some weekly demand here that I've been looking at, like around here. It just filled in this gap that was never really closed on the weekly. So this is like an interesting area, like this gap area. Nice rejection, strong engulfing, kind of just made a higher low here on the daily. I think I had a fib on this chart earlier. Yeah, like rejected the 78.6. Nice double bottom. Broke structure on H4. So it's looking pretty good for longs, in my opinion. Probably back up to the highs, maybe even like 1.85, maybe somewhere around there, like round number 1.85. I basically trade like a lot of supply and demand and quarters theory and just price action structure, just knowing like time frame correlation with structure and just knowing where you're at on like multiple structures. Um, what else? What else? What else? I think oil is interesting. Oil rejected like a strong weekly supply like structure area. Like it hasn't been in this area for a long time. This fucking candle fucks the chart up, but yeah, rejected off that area and it's kind of daily structure just broke too, like higher low, lower low, retest, lower highs forming. And it's just very overbought, and I don't know, like personally, I think oil is kind of like obsolete, like especially like the auto industry and things like more leaning towards like electric cars and shit like that. It's terrible. Anyway, yeah, like on H4 structure is bearish too. So this area is really interesting. Like I'm kind of watching, see if it makes like some type of lower high. Like we can get like a breaker structure on like H1 if we could take out like these higher lows and then head back down. I mean, oil moves a lot. From here, from current price to these lows is 400 pips, so almost 370 pips. So oil's a big mover, so you can definitely catch some nice moves on it. But it definitely looks like the momentum is shifting on oil, just like how it made all these higher lows, like big candles, big engulfing, strong momentum. So this is definitely an interesting place for oil that I'm looking at. Possibly shorting it to the lows. Oil moves a lot at like 10 in the morning. So like New York session, that's when I trade it usually. Like 9, 10 o'clock. EA, I'm very bullish on. I've been bullish on EA for a while. Similar to GA. I think the AUD pairs are like AUD weakness is what I'm anticipating. Bitcoin is interesting. So it's just blasting new highs. So as bullish as fuck. Buy your altcoins, AJ. Strong. Very strong weekly close out of a lower high. Didn't really break this previous high. 1, 2, 3 weeks of exhaustion, engulfing. More than likely continue down. Like I said, AUD weakness. Looking pretty bearish. Like not really a place that I would sell it at personally. Like if it pulled back or made some type of lower high or something significant that we could actually sell into. Like I wouldn't really sell it this low, but it is looking like very bearish and like there's a steep pullback happening. So UJ I've been bearish on for a while. Kind of got stopped out over here, like hit my target, but it is what it is. But overall, it's still like making the move it should be making. Honestly, the daily just broke structure, just broke all these higher lows. So if it were to pull back somewhere around here, which would be a blessing, honestly. I doubt it will, but it could pull back out of the zone. There's like the daily higher, like the last higher low, like slash like demand area here. But we'll see if it just breaks or maybe makes a pullback. That would be generous though. So we'll see what it does. GU. Honestly, I'm like short-term bullish on GBP pairs and then like long-term bearish on them, but GU could buy up a little bit, I think, and then sell off. Maybe either that or continue. It's gonna make new lows eventually. So like GU, GJ, I think is gonna make new lows. Reasons being is just like one, like the past week's close and just the area that we rejected on GJ, like in most GBP pairs. So right here, I don't know if a lot of you know, some of you know, my students know if they are my webinars, but this candle, like some of you probably know it, maybe you don't, but this is Brexit. So like this was like a very significant candle for like all the GBP charts, and just this supply in particular is just a very significant area. So we had a very strong rejection out of there. Yeah, daily breaker structure, just a lot of confluence. So overall, like it hasn't violated any lower highs, and it's just continuing to sell. So just see a lot of momentum. Any pullbacks will be generous, but we'll see what it does. Maybe it pulls back to like 155 psychological level. It's like that's like a previous like support. Oh, it's too much. That's like a previous support area, retest. So we'll see if it does, but I would be more interested in shorting than buying at this price. AU. I'm bearish on most AUD pairs, so sorry, 1 second. Yeah. USD CHF dollar pairs. Let's take a look. A little bit. Looking kind of interesting, honestly. It's looking a little top heavy. Like I kind of want to buy it. I just overall I think it's more bullish. Like the weekly structure is kind of like in an uptrend. But it's still not ready. Honestly, I thought it was gonna after it rejected this trend line. I thought we would have more upward movement, but seeing afterwards, it kind of just broke and retested that trend line. It's still resting on it right now. So, we'll have to see, but maybe it comes down lower and then goes higher. But overall, the structure, I mean, this is like the weekly higher low, so it hasn't really violated. It kind of just like made a grab below, but overall, it hasn't really violated that area yet. So, we'll see. Please mute your mics. I don't know. I can't even see whose mic this is. Is there a way I can mute everyone's mic? Does anyone know how to do that? That would be nice. Okay, what pairs have I not gone over? EU. I've really been looking at EU. So still kind of respecting. I had this like lower trend line drawn. It's just kind of been resting around this area. I mean, it's very oversold, but it's still like downtrending overall. So I think EU could pull back for some buys. Like all the ideas I'm giving are kind of just like short, not like the short to medium term, like intraday to like few days time frame. Like it's not really giving you any specific executions. Really what I'll do is just I scale into like the lower time frames around the session time. I don't know if I trade London, like probably around 2 a.m. I'm going to look for a structure to like, I want to see the volume come into the market and I want to see how the chart's reacting to that and then just go based on structure once you get like a significant breaker structure, basically. But with some like higher time frame confirmations, H1 confirmations, maybe H4 candle closure or something like that, like to just give me like some type of direction as well. I'm going to read some messages because I haven't really said anything yet. Can I record it for the people missing out? I think it's being recorded.
Yeah, I'm recording the whole thing.
Swinging GA to the upside. Yeah, GA is definitely is a buy. Do you trade as much during holiday months? Yeah, honestly, the market is extremely volatile. Like towards the end of the year, around the Christmas months, you definitely can get some good moves. Like the end of the year and towards the beginning, like between like October to like January, I feel like it's the best time for the markets. As far as like just volatility goes.
So I told her
please.
And I did.
The XY looks like it's gonna be dropping too. Yeah. Like I said, I'll take a look at the DXY. GJ pulled back to retest monthly trend. XRP, I'll take a look at XRP. What are my thoughts on NAS? Yeah, went over NAS. I'll look at DXY. Oh yeah, okay, mute all. Perfect. Cool. Nice. Thank you for that. Okay. Let's go to DXY. DXY, for those of you who don't know, is a dollar index, which is basically like a basket of what the dollar is, on its own. So it's kind of just like made up of how it's holding up against other currencies, like just an average of what it's doing essentially. So DXY, I don't like this one. Is TBC a good one? I forget. I think TBC is good. Yeah. You can just kind of tell by how the chart looks, like if it's clean or not, if the closures are good. Okay, TBC Dollar Index. Yeah, it definitely looks like it ran into some highs up here and some resistance. This is like a previous pretty strong resistance around this area. So I don't know if it's a little bit of daily supply here. Yeah. Let's see if it rejected though. Yeah, it did. Wow, nicely. Yeah, looking like dollar could probably like make some short-term pullbacks. Three drive. A lot of supply, a lot of exhaustion. We'll see. It's still kind of like making higher lows here a little bit on each board, but I see this scenario where it could pull back. What else? What else? What else? Check gold. Yeah. Do you use any institutional trading in your daily trading? Like what? Like, I mean, what institutional concepts are you referring to? I mean, I trade some liquidity concepts and stuff like that, but I just mostly trade like I trade supply and demand. I trade quarters theory. I trade specific trend lines. I trade structure. I mean, I trade a variety of confluences. I trade news-based events and fundamentals. There's no one particular strategy I'm using or one particular confluence. It's just a combination of a lot of things. It's like I don't, it's never the same thing every time. It's kind of like its own case by case basis. Gold is definitely looking kind of bullish, like just at a median. But I mean, it's M5, but I have like a daily resistance supply up here at like 1830 area. I think we're gonna run into this price more than likely, like around 1830. So I think we have more. Like I mean, it's still 60 pips in the table, but it's very bullish. I've been looking at buys for a while now. Definitely presented a nice buy down over here. I don't know. It's not a great area to buy right this moment. So I haven't really been stalking it like I wanted to, but yeah, definitely we'll I mean, I think it more than likely will make new highs, but I just can't say for sure yet. But we'll definitely run into 1830s and then maybe see if we can break higher. But a lot of momentum just going up. Daily candles look good. Weekly candles. Last weekly was very strong. Respected the higher lows in this weekly, strong engulfing, like no wick at all on that candle close, indicating like a very strong close. Buyers fully in control on multiple time frames, higher time frames. Weekly bullish, daily bullish, H4 bullish. So we'll see. If it goes, it'll probably just fly up tomorrow, like around FOMC. So we'll see what they say. So that 1828 was been selling off lately. Yeah, I mean it's not far from 1828. It almost hit 1828 to be honest with you. Did it not? It came pretty close. Let's see. Yeah, within 7 pips. So when you're trading liquidity, are you referring to wick off or just? I don't really know much about wick off, but I'm just like concepts of how liquidity is taken out of the market. And like the types of patterns that like show up when that happens and how to recognize when those patterns are happening and how to avoid getting trapped in the pattern. For example, like what did I just show before? Fuck. What pair was that? I was just looking at that. Oh, it was the DXY, I think. Yeah. DXY, for example, like market comes into like a strong resistance area. Creates a ridge. Okay, market comes into like a resistance area, engulfs, structure breaks, whatever you want to call it. Just a lot of sellers are induced into the market. So even here, like, notice how it just peaks above the highs. A lot of stop losses are allocated here. There's buy stops. A lot of liquidity is placed above highs and lows in the market. People have stop losses there, and people have pending orders there as well, trying to catch a breakout trade or whatever. So very often that a market will, just peak above a high or a low, and then reverse after that moment, and then, induce more orders to be taken into the market, only to be slowly, not slowly, but just, marginally, the trade is closed, the money's taken, the liquidity is collected, buyers are induced, whatever. Like, there's a whole lot of exchange going on at these areas, and these are like interesting places to trade. I don't just trade at these zones, but if I see a trade setup happen on the lower time frames there, or if I see, if I'm in the trade, I always give myself enough room to where, I'd rather it's a fine line between, because the market is not a pretty place. It doesn't always respect highs or lows. So I don't want to get stopped. I've been stopped out of many trades before that only stopped me out by a little bit and then reverse, and that happens frequently. So because it works. So really, it's just about recognizing the patterns and when they're happening and why they're where you're at on the chart, and why certain areas you shouldn't be worried about if it does happen to breach, your highs or lows by a little bit. So it's just something that, like, it's not something I like to really be taught, like, to people. It's just something I kind of, you just have to use your own discretion, like, based on what the chart is showing you. So but like 3 drive patterns, it's not the cleanest one that I can show you, but it's just the concept of like how the market, usually does these patterns.
Say,
What's up? NZD USD. Take a look. I don't even have any NZD pairs in my watches. NZD USD daily. Weekly. To be honest with you, I'm seeing it as bearish right now. So, and this is why. Okay, I don't like that last monthly candle, to be honest with you, but overall, what I see is just the potential for like a lower high to form here. So we have, on the weekly, is a lot of exhaustion, big wick, engulfing, lower high out of this lower high area, engulfing, so engulfing. This candle is a strong engulfing, so I don't really like that, but I also don't want to just base my whole bias off of just one candle, which is a bad habit. But we definitely seeing a lot of slowdown here, and just, a lot of resistance being created here. So maybe we come a little higher, and then I always start at my highest time frame and work lower. That's the best way to go about things. So, and then you just continue to dissect more information. So here I see the last 1, 2, 3, basically 4 weeks has kind of been, stagnating here, consolidating, a little bit of exhaustion. So I'm just, paying attention to those things. Kind of looks like the daily almost kind of like had a minor break of structure here, even though it kind of peaked these highs. Like, overall, it hasn't really taken out these highs fully yet. Like, not even 2 candles have closed beyond that previous high. Higher low, lower low, right? Break of structure. This candle is engulfing, 2 engulfings. So I'm definitely seeing a good amount of slowdown and resistance being created in this area. And we're also kind of rejecting on H4 out of like an H4 supply, like slash structure point. So, and the structure must have just broken here on like H1 or M5 or like M30, M15, whatever is lower time frame. Respected this high, and now we have a bearish lower lows and lower highs forming. So looking pretty bearish on NZDUSD. I don't know what bias you had, but that's the way I look at it. Yeah, and yeah, this H4 candle, or just closed actually. Yeah, H4 candle just closed. So just closed with a strong engulfing exhaustion. So now we have a brand new H4 candle. So we have room to move around a little bit, but overall looks pretty bearish. H1 just broke structure, higher low, lower high, lower low. So maybe it pulls back a little bit, retests, and then we can get some dropping. But this could be an interesting area. The risk reward is pretty good if you're on sells. So if I trade divergence, not really. To be honest with you, I don't really use any indicators. So if you're talking about like RSI divergence, I don't really use. But the thing is, like a lot of times, like you have to understand that like all these things are universal. Like moving averages and indicators and certain things are basically like they're all math based, so they kind of behave in the same way. So a lot of times, like when you see divergence, it's like also the same as like the patterns that I was talking about, like when you have like a 3-drive pattern or something like that. Like if you look at this, like the RSI is going to be like most likely highest here or here, and then after the RSI settles out a bit, like at this point is going to be divergent here, and this ends up presenting the best opportunity for you to enter the trade anyway. So, but it's just you're able to recognize it more quickly, and it's not lagging behind so much. So, I don't really like indicators, like I said, because they lag a lot and they're you become too reliant on them. So, like really just knowing your price action is best. But if you have them, like the analogy that I always give is like if you're bowling and you have the gutters up, like that's kind of like when you need to use indicators. If you're like way out of the lines and you need gutters, then go ahead and use your indicators. But if you're bowling straight, like you don't even need that shit. So yeah. What else? What other pairs? What other pairs? AJ, S&P, same shit. EJ. Someone said GBP cat or something like that, right? I mean, GC buys. Do you think it'll continue pushing up? Let's take a look. I mean, I did say that I think GBPs are pretty bullish, and also I spoke about oil earlier. So just a little piece of like fundamental information, like oil. Canada has a very big export of oil, so they're a lot of their economy revolves around oil. So and oil is also dependent on Canada's exports. They go hand in hand. So when you have the oil chart looking bearish, this doesn't always isn't the case, but a lot of times I find the correlation plays out a lot. But when oil is looking bearish, a lot of times that the Canadian dollar will also be bearish because of that correlation. So when oil does bad, Canada usually does bad as well. So let's see. So if Canada's bearish, oil's bearish, then GBP CAD would be a good buy. To be honest with you, it does look pretty good on the daily. I mean, this is like a pretty major support. Like we have a lot of support here. Like look at all these rejections like we have in the past. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now it already kind of rejected a bit. Like we have like 8 rejections out of this area. There's a strong quarter here, 1.675. What price you in your buy is at? 1.675 is here. Daily candle just engulfed. We had a doji like reversal. I mean, first I would say it could potentially go up a bit higher, maybe to 1.70 would be ideal, but probably like 1.695, maybe another like 75 pips potentially. All right, whose mic is not muted? Because I just muted her. Okay. but yeah, just based on that, like, so it just seems to be rejecting like a really nice support in the daily, and I wouldn't expect it to go like too high like without more confirmation, because the structure overall is bearish. So yeah, I figured we retest some type of like supply on the higher time frame. Overall, the weekly is pretty bearish, so the momentum is going down. So we'll see. That's just like at first glance. Main buys at 68088. Yeah, you're chilling. 68088. It's good. I mean, if I were in your if I was in your trade and this was, I don't know what your stop loss was or is right now. If you want to share it with us. But 68088. I mean, at this point, like I really wouldn't want to be risking too much. So either like you have a mildly conservative stop around this like higher low and like H1, like below this higher low, or at this point you could more than likely be just break even or have your stops advanced to like maybe this higher low here, because realistically it should if it's going to continue going up at this point, like it kind of just broke out. So I would want this bullish momentum to continue. So at this point I would tuck my stops like somewhere below these higher lows, like you have like 50 pips locked in at this point, and you'd be chilling, and if it continues, it continues. It is making resistance here, but it's just consolidating. So mine's in profit, but it was 67140. Yeah. So AUD CAD. All right, do you guys have any questions or anything? I wasn't gonna make this like a long thing. I just kind of wanted to go over like what I was looking at for the charts for the week and just share a bit of analysis and things like that. But I'll definitely do something more like this in the future. Damn, look at that JER 30 gap. JER 30 is nice. I mean, I'm bearish on most of the indices, so but if we could get like a retest of JER 30, just broke this trend line, close the gap up, and then we could potentially sell it like down to conservative TP, like like around here, 900, 920 area, about 100 points on JER. That'd be nice. That will be nice. We'll see. Got a dream JER 30 was gonna tank, bro. Well, hopefully we'll make it a reality. But all right, yeah. If you guys don't have too many questions, I'll probably just jump off. If anyone wants to ask like a couple questions now, if not, we will we'll meet under the sun another day.
What's up, James?
Yeah, what up?
Hey, appreciate you doing this, man. I have a question more so on like just psychology, man. Love your story. Just breaking through, bro. Like, can you talk a little bit just about psychology, man? And when you're just trying to break through to become a consistent and profitable trader. What are some of the things that you had to do on a daily basis?
I mean,
to make sure
well,
your mind.
first of all, like consistency is a little bit like subjective. Like obviously, you become consistent after a certain time. But like I think I was consistently making money, like even when I first started, like not in the way that I do now. And obviously I have a much better skill set, but I think what held me back a lot when I first started trading was like, everybody has winning trades and good trades and bad trades and things like that. So, but it's like you got to reward yourself after you have big trades and good trades or whatever it is. So withdraw your money and pay yourself, treat it like a job. So until I really started like, paying myself, like I didn't really make a lot of money because I would just make money and keep it in my account and try and grow my account. And I think just growing your bank account is really important as well. And so I don't know if there was like really making my first $100,000 was like my big breakthrough, So what happened to me was I don't know if you probably watched my podcast, like just judging by what you said, but But in my podcast, like I talked about how I had like a trade that I was up like $80,000. It was like my biggest trade to my career at that point. Like I was floating 80,000. And I didn't close the trades, and like that would have been like a life-changing amount of money for me at that time. And had I just been more present in the moment and just be like, yo, you're up $80,000, like secure some money, whatever, like something like that. Like you got to pay yourself. So until like that happened, and then I ended up like blowing my account out. Like the trade broke even. I had like 50K in the account, and then I ended up losing it. So, and then later that year, like months later, like I deposit the 30K and do the 200K flip or whatever, and then I paid myself $100,000 out of that. And once I did that, like not only did it just like solidify a lot for me, but it built my bank account a lot, and I was able to just change my lifestyle, in a way. Like when you have that type of money hit your account, if you haven't had it, like you can start doing things that you might you just feel more comfortable just spending your money, I guess, and it reinforces your psychology positively. Like, and you just, because when it's in your account and you're just seeing the numbers fluctuate, you're like not really truly realizing the value of those dollars and how much they can really do for you and buy for you until you like start spending the money, going out, whatever, like dinner, buy this, buy that, it's just dope. And you think about the money differently. It's very easy to get like disconnected to like the value of the dollar. So I think just paying yourself and enjoying your life, even if you're not like stupid rich. Like I'm not like filthy rich. I want to be like, I can't go out and buy fucking 3 Lambos like Q and a Ferrari and this. Like I'm gonna get there, but it's just like let me enjoy what I can enjoy right now. Enjoy my part of the journey. Like I'm not in any rush, and just just like really enjoy my money. Like when I'm in my trades and I'm not as greedy, because I'm like, yo, like I'm up X amount of dollars. Like I can do so much with this money. I can go here. I can do that. I think about like how the money itself, like, and what I can do with it, and how it can just like positively impact my life and what I want to do,
Cool.
Yeah. So nothing in particular like with a breakthrough. I also just like, becoming more consistent with your routine of trading. Like, now, so when I trade, like I almost always trade London session or New York session. I'm looking at the chart. I know exactly what I want to see at what particular time I want to see it. It doesn't always happen like that at that time, but more often than not, like, when the volume steps in and when certain things happen, the trade plays out how I want to, when I want to, essentially. You can't always control the timing, but just having a routine of what you do and just being like methodical with it is definitely helpful to just your overall success. Like anybody can win and lose in one day, but like, can you win and lose? Can you win more than you lose? And can you do it consistently, basically? So I like to have a routine with how I go about it. It's just like muscle memory. And it's just trading is all about just doing the same thing over and over again, basically, So,
Yeah, bro. I have an issue like withdrawing. I always end up like losing the money. I'll grow an account and I just end up losing the money, bro. I just gotta, I gotta work on withdrawing.
Next time you grow an account, bro, just take out half your profits and just spend it on whatever you want, bro. Like doesn't even matter. It could be like fucking gummy bears, bro. Like just buy something, pair of shoes you always wanted, something. So there's something dope. And then just keep going, bro. The next time you make money, you're gonna like be more inclined to do that, and you're gonna just have overall better trades. You're gonna be in a better mood, and you're not gonna be stressed out or fearful because you lost money. Like, oh, like fuck, I lost this amount of money. Like, close your trades early, or you do some stupid mistake. Like, it just helps you overall. You're not risking as much money in your account because you built it and then secured some money, so you feel better about. Oh, I made some money, I secured it. Like, all right, I'm not so worried about losing money in this trade. It just it changes up your whole psychology. So
hey James, what's going on? I got a question
Yeah.
before you go. I want to know, how do you not miss a trade? How do you always just look at the charts at a certain time, or?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely I try not to just stay on the charts all day long, because like at that point it becomes like a job. But I definitely check the markets like multiple times a day. Just even though I know I'm not going to trade probably like at London session or like 3 in the afternoon or whatever, still check out the charts to just keep up with it. But I mean, I miss trades too. Like I get busy and like, or big moves happen suddenly and you kind of like you're like, oh shit, well now like the move I was looking for just kind of happened. So you don't want to chase it. So I prefer to just if I miss it, I miss it. Like I'm not trying to chase it. So, but yeah, like I said, having a routine is important. Like I like to trade like around the session open. So it saves me a lot of time and headache of just looking at a chart or being in a trade that is not moving. I want to take the trade at the time when the volume comes in. So I'm not sitting there watching paint dry in the market. So yeah, like trading the session open is definitely like an important part of my strategy, or just like at the session time, like when my trade starts playing out, because chances are it's not going to play out of session. So just minimizing my screen time and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what this is all about for me. I mean, I don't want to be sitting in front of the charts all day, but
right.
I kind of want to. I'm having issues with just becoming systematic.
I mean, what pairs do you trade?
I like GJ US 30.
So like what times do you find yourself trading at random times of the day, or like when do you normally trade?
No, I really like New York Open for US 30. I got a strategy where I catch the Open and I kind of like catch the fade of the Open on US 30. But with GJ, it moves in New York, but sometimes I don't really want to wake up during London. And if I miss a move in London, I catch myself like chasing after it.
Yeah, I find a lot of the best moves, especially on like pairs like that, like GJ, like are gonna happen in London. So I mean, London has the most volume, so it's tough. Like, but I would just, if you're trading in New York, I would just stick with like New York based things like U.S. dollar pairs, indices, gold. I mean, you could trade GJ at that time. I just feel like it's more difficult and there's not as much reward with the volume, like how the move plays out. That's just my opinion. Like I'd rather just trade. I almost always stay up for London, so that's just how I go about it.
Absolutely. I really like to look for like 3-to-1s or 5-to-1s minimum.
Yeah.
So it's like if I don't see the move in that
if
way,
it's not set up exactly. Like I'm the same way. I'd rather just wait for like my really sure good opportunity than just try and throw a fucking Hail Mary into like a man coverage. So so I definitely agree with that. So that's why I like to just, I mean, I dedicate enough time to the charts to where like I don't miss those opportunities, because I know how much they can make me in terms of money. So I make sure I'm every London session almost. I try not to miss anything. At the end of the day, like I said, you will miss things, but you gotta put time into it. And you just gotta be smart about it.
Absolutely. It's just when you lose one, you're like, damn, and then you want to chase the market. So is there like, you obviously stop after like 2 losses in a day or something like that, right? So.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a set rule, but like, it really just comes down to like what happened on the chart, like how bad did I lose, how am I feeling that day? If you're taking a couple of losses, definitely just step away. There's like, I didn't trade poorly, like that poorly while I was on vacation, but I was just on vacation and I lost. Nobody, even if you make money or lose money, like you don't want to, you're just not locked into your routine like you normally are. And I don't know, like who wants to be, working on vacation and shit. So you gotta find a balance. You gotta find a balance between what you're doing and
absolutely.
You gotta really know yourself as well, like audit yourself and know how well do you know yourself, and like I don't know, just I mean I know
never stop learning. Never stop learning.
Right.
Can I give you a suggestion? So maybe if you're missing like a lot of trades, you should audit like the amount of free time you have towards trading, and maybe you should consider swing trading, right? Because if you like that pair, you can still catch those moves. You just got to look at a higher time frame, and those entries will happen for you.
Yeah, that's true. The thing about it is, I know that I'm a day trader. Like I hate, unless it's sweet, I rarely hold it after session close, because the spreads and the gaps and all the bells and the whistles kind of mess with my emotions, because I'm looking at like, my profits fluctuate. So I kind of know myself to be like a sort of a scalper type day trader. So doing that, it kind of, if I don't get a proper entry, then I kind of start playing with it. Like I'm struggling with FOMO too. So it's like, but I'm pretty consistent right now. And I just feel as though that you're right. Like I should probably swing trade or something, or consider switching my style a little bit.
Yeah, because especially, I mean, well, it's tricky, right? Because if you know yourself and you know that you're gonna want to mess with the trades, maybe try like a small swing trade, right, and see how it goes, and just like set up like a separate live account, right? Put like I don't know what you're trading, but you put like a small amount in there and just hit it, and just make that trade, like mark up your chart, put it in, set it, and forget it, right? And do your normal routine, and then come back maybe like a week later, check the trade, see how it's going, because if you're struggling with like FOMO and stuff, going through swing trading is a good way to like mitigate that, right? Because you're not watching the fucking 5 minute chart, the 1 minute chart, all that crazy shit, and you line things up well in advance and you just wait for your limits to hit. So it kind of takes the FOMO out because you either get triggered or you don't. But like you said, if you know your own emotions, it's a tricky thing. But maybe just try it out.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. I like limits. I've been doing limits for a little bit.
Our boy James doesn't really use limits, but I only trade limits.
I don't use
Oh,
limits.
okay.
I mean, I can use them, but it's just like I always prefer, like I always like to watch my charts while I'm trading. It's just like how I prefer to do things. Do I stay up for London session? Do I wake up before it? I almost always stay up. Like even if I'm tired, like like I said, you gotta want it bad enough. Like there's some times where I'll stay up for 24 hours, 38 hours, 46 hours, whatever the fuck it is. Like doesn't matter. Like when my trade is closed and everything's done, it's done. So it's not healthy, I'm sure, but not everybody can do that. But like in certain trades, like if I'm really like deep into some lots, then I'm managing it the best that I can, and I'm watching to make sure everything goes accordingly. So when did you realize you had to create your own LLC? Do you withdraw money to your LLC, then pay yourself, or do you directly withdraw money to yourself? I mean I don't know if the way that I have it set up is best. Like I know that S corp is pretty good. Honestly, if I were you, like everyone's situation is different, bro. So like I personally would just consult an accountant or like certified tax person like that. Just know like someone's try and find someone savvy, bro, and just talk to them. And there's a lot, like I said, everyone's situation is different. So or just explain to them what you have going on. Favorite book. I don't know if I really have a favorite book right now. I think I'll probably Use of Life. This book's really good. I don't know if you guys know who Sean Lee is. It's called The Guide to Balance. Sean Lee is like a very big trader in London. He has like his group is called Astro Forex, but he wrote this book and it's a really good book. Yep, I have it right here. That's funny. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so all right. Any last questions? I'm probably gonna take a nap and then I'm like right now I'm tired, so like I'll probably just take a little nap before I for London. Like I don't want to be exhausted too, so man, please do this more. Yeah, of course. Favorite place you visited the last few days? I was in Slovenia, I was in Venice, I was in Florence, I was in Rome, and I was in like the southern coast of Italy, like the Amalfi Coast. All had different things to offer, but I really liked Rome because the buildings were so old and like the culture and there's the history there is truly amazing, honestly. Like the Vatican and some of these buildings are so incredible and they're so old. The Vatican was like one of the most, like probably the most incredible building I've ever been in or seen in my life. Just huge, like fucking murals everywhere, and just like the way everything is carved and built. And what's my IG? My IG is yeah, the buildings were.
Damn, bro, I don't think I've ever seen you answer a question as fast as you answered. What's your IG, James?
Yeah, people gotta know what my IG is. What news do you look for while trading NAS and 30? Just US based news, like I mean anything FOMC, anything Jerome Powell, anything employment data like US employment, unemployment, non-farm payroll, even things like this, like PPI, like this is purchasing power index or right, I believe. So yeah, anything with like US dollar based news is like any red folders are usually pretty impactful.
Can I
So,
piggyback on that? Anyone who's going to trade like US 30 or NASDAQ, be sure to look for earnings reports because I know like last week or the week before, a bunch of people got slapped on a NASDAQ short, and it was the day that Amazon and someone else released earnings. So watch for those.
oh yeah, earnings reports definitely go hand in hand for that stuff. So definitely that's a good input. But yeah, I guess that wraps it up. Am I well by dropping a course? Yeah, I'm gonna be doing a course. I'm actually gonna be doing some in-person courses in Miami soon with another big trader, probably around early December. I'll be doing that. And eventually I'll drop like an online course eventually. So his name is Migzer. It's at Migzer. MIGZR. And Q is gonna pull up to one of our classes actually. That's like a hush secret, so don't say anything. But Q's gonna make like a guest appearance at one of our classes.
Is that for your one-on-one students?
What's that?
Is that for your one-on-one students?
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to include it for all my one-on-one students are welcome to attend it if they'd like to.
Because I'm in Florida too, so I'll be down for that.
Yeah, we're gonna do it in we're gonna do it in like I said, like early December more than likely, and I'm not sure where it'll be. It'll probably be like Miami area, somewhere over there. So
is it a weekend or like a whole week?
I think it's gonna be a 3 or 4 day course, and we're also going to, similar to like what I'm doing now, we're gonna have like follow up webinars for like a month or so, like once a week or so. We'll meet and follow up with things and just have more in depth with it. But it's gonna be me and Migs teaching it. It's gonna be we haven't 100% finalized the price, but it's gonna be like $2,500, I believe. And we're also going to include an online course, like preliminary online course to include with it as well. So it's a good amount of value. You're going to get the online course. You're going to get 3 or 4 days with me and Migs and Q. You're going to meet all of us. And then you'll have follow-ups for a month. And, anyone that's a student of mine, gets access to me. So if you need more help outside of that, if you're putting in the work and I can see that, then I don't mind helping you. If you pay me for that, but just got to be putting in the work. So
Bro, unfollow whoever that first post is.
Nah, bro, that's my Bay post. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Jared 30 looks like it's gonna head to fill this gap. I'm gonna sell it. I like Jared 30, looks good. I like also how the daily is kind of not really fully broken this high yet. It's kind of consolidating around it and just. So we'll see. But yeah, I guess that wraps it up. All right, yo. I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for everyone that stopped in. I appreciate you guys. And as always, I appreciate everyone's support and just being there for me and a lot of people say nice things. So I appreciate you guys and